All right, time for our Wealth Wednesday. If you've ever tuned into Morning Mix, you know that one of our favorite topics is animals. Both Nana and I are pet parents, so why not combine our love for animals with our Wealth Wednesday?
I think that's a great idea. We're joined by certified financial planner and our friend Will Rogers to talk about owning a pet, the cost and other impacts if you're thinking of bringing a new pet into your home. And of course, Will, it wouldn't make sense to talk about this, right, without you bringing in your furry friend.
Yeah, Baxter had to join us, and here just so glad to have him on again.
And yes, Baxter even got a cut for the job.
I know, he's looking good. So if you want to join the pet ownership population, let's start just with the decision of buying or adopting.
Right, and it's something that I was talking with some of your guests coming up, and they adopted their pets, and I'm a big advocate of that. As you're looking at what's out there, if you adopt from the animal shelter, it's often less expensive. You can buy from a breeder or pet shop. One thing to keep in mind, shelters are often going to spay or neuter the animals prior to adoption. You want to choose a breed less prone to health and genetic problems. Do your research ahead of time, just so you can make some informed decisions.
Okay, let's run this down the line. You found a pet, you want it, you've taken care of that. What about the ongoing costs that you're going to see?
No, the ongoing costs, I mean, most folks will think of the food and so forth, but you've got to have a safe lifestyle and area. You know, do you need to have any safety hazards? We put up special fencing around our place just to make sure Baxter wouldn't fall into the water out at our lake place. You've got the food and the toys. You know, in 2023, Americans spent over $123 billion on pets. A lot of money.
I thought that was going to wow me. I'm really not surprised.
I'm not surprised
with the amount of money that we spend on ours.
You know what? And I think how we own our pets have changed over the years, right?
Yes, yes.
They're more like kids. When you think about back in the days, you know, growing up, my dad, there was always the dog, and they were kind of outside, and they were like the protector, right? Now they're babies, they're inside, they're sleeping next to you, and they get all the treatment we do almost. So speaking of all the treatment, let's talk about impacts to our home. What do we need to consider here?
You want to make sure that before you bring the pet into your home, that your home is a good place to bring the pet into. If you're renting, you want to check with the landlord, see if there's any extra fees or even if pets are allowed. You know, if you own your home, then making sure it's compliant with the city ordinance. But be ready. Just plan on new furniture or other items just getting torn up and getting thrown into the mix with it, because as animals are figuring out where they're at and how they're living, they're not chewing things up to be mean because they had a bad day. They're just nervous or scared or something's going on in their world, and they're just trying to release tension the way we sometimes yell or scream or do stuff, but it ends up costing you a couch.
And you're right, repairing or replacing a piece of furniture, that's an expense. What other expenses can you be looking at?
Well, one of the things to keep an eye out for is medical bills that might be coming up. So if you're you got your normal rabies shots and vaccines and so forth, but if you've got any injuries or what have you, you've got that. Also, if you're traveling, vacation, how are you going to get the pet with you? You know, there's an extra fee for Baxter to fly, but we had a bigger dog before that could not fly with us. So then it's boarding fees and everything else. So all of your travel or excursion plans might be a little bit higher. We got folks at work that they got the COVID pets, and then they had to go back into the office, and so now they've got to make arrangements, pay somebody to walk their pet in the middle of the day. That just wasn't part of the plan before. They're like, oh, I'll be at home all the time, and life changed.
Oh, and let me tell you, people have some good gigs out there. Okay, I'm a part of those groups, and yeah, they make some nice money. All right, let's talk about emergencies really quick, because this is something to keep in mind. How can we plan for emergencies?
And I do encourage folks to look at the pet insurance and have some cash reserves set aside if something happens to your pet. Baxter's older brother, Moose, he did pass away a couple years ago, but jeepers, almost 11 years ago now, he was in a pretty bad accident, and we had to take him to the vet, and it was thousands of dollars of emergency repairs. Baxter's been a couple of times when he's eaten something that he really should not have eaten. So there's several $100s just to make sure he could pull through. So having that insurance or the cash available, either way, there's probably going to be some medical bills in the future, and you want to be ready for them.
There's a lot more to consider than just a bag of dog food and a couple of chew toys. Definitely.
Right.
All right. We'll appreciate the info very much. You've got all of Will's info there on the screen if you would like to call him and contact for any financial questions. Thank you, Bud.
Hey,
Good to see you.
good being here. Thanks, Baxter.